Welcome back to my channel. Today's topic, we will be discussing hoarding. Hoarding is a mental illness characterized by persistent difficulty discarding or parting with possessions, regardless of their actual value. People with hoarding disorders have an excessive emotional attachment to their possessions, which can lead to significant distress and impairment in their daily lives. Hoarding disorder is recognized as a distinct mental disorder in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders and is classified as an obsessive-compulsive and related disorder. However, it is important to note that not all hoarding behavior is indicative of hoarding disorder. This disorder can be a result of various factors, including genetics, life experiences, and brain chemistry. It is often associated with other mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, and obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. Hoarding is considered a mental illness because it is a disorder that significantly affects a person's thinking, emotions, and behaviors, leading to distress and impairment. Have you ever watched an episode of Hoarders and thought to yourself, this can't possibly be real, until you finish watching the entire episodes? And then you realize just how attached the people are to their possessions, no matter how large, no matter how small. To you, an empty can of soup from 10 years back is trash to you, but to them, it is everything. I'm going to share with you a true story of a woman who was a hoarder and the events that surrounded her experience. This is a true story about Sandra. Sandra was a single woman in her mid-60s living alone in a small apartment in a crowded city. Over the years, Sandra had accumulated a lot of stuff: clothing, books, magazines, trinkets, and various household items. She found it hard to let go of things even if they were worn out or broken. Eventually, her apartment became so cluttered that it was difficult to navigate through it. There were piles of clothes and books on the floor, boxes and bags stacked on top of each other, and dust and debris everywhere. Sandra's hoarding had a significant impact on her life. She stopped inviting people over because she was embarrassed by the mess in her apartment. She stopped going out as much, preferring to stay indoors with her possessions. Her apartment became a prison of sorts, and she found it hard to leave it. While trying to navigate through all of her things, one day Sandra fell and broke her hip. She was hospitalized for several weeks and then had to undergo extensive physical therapy. During that time, her family and friends came to visit her and saw the state of her apartment. They were shocked and worried about her safety and well-being. They knew they had to do something to help her. With Sandra's permission, her family and friends spent several days cleaning out her apartment. They had to throw away a lot of things that were no longer useful or even safe to keep. The process was emotional for Sandra. She cried, and she cried, and she had a hard time parting with some of her possessions. However, with the help of her family, she was able to let go of the many items that she had been holding on to for several years. After the apartment was cleaned out, Sandra felt like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. she felt more free and less trapped by her possessions. She started to invite people over again and go out more. She realized that she had been missing out on life because of her hoarding. Sandra's story shows the harmful effects of hoarding on a person's life. It also shows that with the help of loved ones and professional support, hoarding behavior can be overcome. Hoarding can have severe consequences both for the person who hoards and for those around them. It can lead to social isolation, health risk, and in extreme cases, homelessness. It can also be dangerous, as hoarded items can obstruct exits and create fire hazards. Treatment for hoarding disorder typically involves a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy, medication, and support from family and friends. CBT can help individuals with hoarding disorder change their behavior and thoughts around possessions, while medication can help reduce anxiety and depression associated with the disorder. If you or someone you know is struggling with hoarding behavior, it is important to seek professional help from a mental health provider who specializes in hoarding disorder.